Year after year, the Rocky Mount Chamber is fortunate to have outstanding financial support from our membership. This year, the presenting sponsor is Capital Broadcasting Company. Our supporting sponsors are Allegra Design, Marketing, Print, and Nomeco Installations. Our host, Nash Community College. Thank you to Linda Snell, Bill Carver, and the entire Nash Community College team. And of course, it takes money to run. I know when you pay money, you think it pays for everything. It doesn't. So we have supporters and tables, and at the tables, I'll call them BB&T, Bats and Bale LLP, Body Noel Enterprises Inc., Carolina's Gateway Partnership, Century 21, the Combs Company, City of Rocky Mount, Cummins Rocky Mount Engine Plant, Fields and Cooper PLLC, Nash County, Nash Rocky Mount Schools, North Carolina Wesleyan College, Edinger and Company PA, Pointers Brewer LLP, Roger G. Taylor and Associates, Southern Bank, UNC Nash Healthcare Systems, Word Tabernacle Church, and we have a special thank you to the Media Wall for technical assistance, to Studio L Production Services for the Distinguished Citizen this year, which you'll see, and designed by Louis Batchelor for photography. Now please join me as I invite Amanda Bell to give the invocation, and then after the invocation, before you start eating, we're going to do something a little different this year, and I just found out we're going to do it. So hang on.
Hello everyone. Some pretty faces out here today. So excited to see you all. If everyone could please bow your heads for the invocation, I would appreciate it. Father God, as we gather for a changing of the chamber leadership today, may our first act be to invite you into this room, into our businesses, and into the chamber offices. We thank you for the many blessings you provide us every day of our lives. It is so reassuring to know that you're with us always. It only takes the mention of your name to call upon your mighty power, a power we cannot even begin to understand, but it's there just for the asking. We pray that this event will be a blessing to all present. We pray over our speaker today, Chaplain Richard Joyner. May his words touch someone's heart just as his work has touched so many lives. Thank you for the work Chaplain Joyner is doing in his community. May it serve as an inspiration to us all to stop talking about what needs to be fixed and to actually be part of the solution. Finally, Father God, thank you for the food which has been prepared for us today. Thank you for the hands who prepared and served it. May we use this food to nourish our bodies, that we may be servants for you, operating our businesses in a manner pleasing to you, just as you instructed us in Colossians 3:23. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. All of this we ask with grateful and humble hearts, and everyone said, Amen. Thank you very much.
Usually your keynote speaker speaks after the meal. Today, our keynote speaker is going to speak during the meal. Now, the reason for that is the whole event was put together to highlight the work and efforts of Cognito Life Family Center, which you have heard a lot about. The results of a community working together for a healthier lifestyle, and to show us all how even what appears to be small can be very large. Now I'm going to ask David Joyner to introduce our guest speaker, and the guest speaker has requested this, so eat quietly, listen vigorously, and maybe we can learn something from all this. Dave?
Good afternoon. If I can just have you introduce our keynote speaker. Like many of you here at home and around the world, actually, we watched on CNN as Richard was recognized with countless people for doing servant leadership, for finding a problem and seeing a need and answering that problem without waiting for permission without waiting for a title, without waiting for wealth, without waiting for money. We're here today to honor our own local hero, Reverend Richard Joyner. Can we give him a great big hand, please? Booker T. Washington once said that excellence is to do a common thing in a non-common way. Reverend Joyner is a man that grew up in a family of sharecroppers. A man that when you get to know him, the one thing that always struck out to me that he would always say is that his work was about human development. He would always constantly, every time we talked, when he mentored me, gave me advice, or just shared a kind word, he would always tell me that the center of his work was based around human development. And he's been a true shepherd in that he saw his people dying far too early. He saw his people without adequate assistance. He saw his people's life wasting away. And so he chose to answer that problem and to do work that made it difficult for him emotionally because it reminded him of the days when his father would come home as a sharecropper having not made any money. It would remind him of all the lack and the loss that his family suffered, and yet Richard still chose to answer the problem. He is a hero in every definition of the word. He's impacted a lot of young people's lives, not by just teaching them how to sow seeds, but at the same time, he fused the dichotomy between rich and poor, between black and white, between urban and rural, and he brought us all together around an idea that if you see a problem, it is your responsibility as a human being, it is your responsibility as a citizen, and it is your responsibility as a child of God to answer that problem. Ladies and gentlemen, we all should learn from his example. We all should awe in what he's done. But the most fascinating thing about Richard's walk, Richard doesn't come from a church that boasts thousands of members. Richard doesn't come from a church that has a lot of money. Richard and a small group of people came together and did something so extraordinary, the entire world sat and watched and honored his name. So I'm going to ask, before you get too far along in your lunch, if you will stand with me on behalf of the Rocky Mountain Chamber of Commerce and help me welcome the Reverend Richard Joyner.
I've been the pastor here 12 years. Early on, they were spending more time with animals than diabetes, high blood pressure, unhealthy lifestyles. I had to do something. The students are learning a lot.
Pick all the things. What are they good for? Diabetes, heart health.
One of our goals is to get as much fresh food in the homes as possible and make the families healthier. It's a game changer. This garden has changed our community life. It's a place where we can produce. It's a place we can play. It's a place where we can live.
Thank you so much, Roger. Thank you, Chamber. Thank you, Rocky Mountain. Thank you, Nash-Edgecombe County. Thank you for your confidence and your trust in just a country preacher to come and stand before you today. I want you to enjoy this meal and want you just to know that thank you for your votes for the CNN Hero. We was very proud to represent this region. I want to thank Kate B. Reynolds, Chair of the Trust today. Johan, thank you for choosing Healthy Places Initiative in Nash-Edgecombe County. Thank you for what you are bringing to us, and thank you for how you're uniting us. And we thank you also for Rocky Mount to be chosen as one of the strong cities. And thank you for what it's doing to us and what it would do for us in the future. I want to speak to you today about the strength of food. And I want to talk to you why food is so important. I want to thank also Lorita's, Milton and Miles, the Main Cross Restaurant. Let me tell you why that is so important and why we want you to eat today while I present. Because your eating today is not just about you consuming a meal. You have made an investment. Because of the collaboration and the strength of the food that you're eating is coming out of local gardens, Let me tell you what that really means today as we sit and eat. Have you ever had a meal that would strengthen your whole community? The meal you're eating today is not only put food on your table, it is putting food on over 62 other families who could not afford this food, but because of your commitment today, they have food. That's noteworthy. Also, the food that you're eating today, 21 other faith-based in Edgecombe County and over 30 in Nash County is beginning to open up their doors to after-school programs, summer camp program that is an agribusiness, agriculture program that is at zero cost to the students. And we'll be able to take students off the streets and give them an education, give them health, and give them outcomes that will not make them dependent, but have them to be independent and understand that human development do not start when you finish a career or college, but how many know it starts from zero to death? And so thank you for that investment. Also, the food that you're eating today will help us in our communities to make sure that every child that leaves our community is ready for the educational day in our school system. That's the meal you're eating today. Chew it well, taste it well. It's not only filling you, but it's impacting our whole community. And that's the kind of meals we want. Also, our meal today is helping us. As I'm a chaplain at Nash Healthcare System, thanks to Larry Cuney, thanks to Violent Healthcare, and thanks to both foundations and the UNC Nash campus, they have united with a lot of other charitable trusts to come together to make a reality the impact in our region, to pull together this opportunity to reduce the barriers for discharge, to reduce the readmits, 30-day readmits in our hospitals that are costing us much, to educate our congregation, our community on the true meaning of primary health care, and with OIC that sees over 20,000 patients a year, that is going to train our lay health advisors to make sure that health care do not start at the most costliest place it is in the hospital, but it start in our home, in our community, in our churches. That meal you're eating today is making sure that that happens. Thank you for the meal you're eating. So you says, well, what does that really mean? And I want to tell you a little bit as I begin to get out of your way about what happened in Canida. As my good friend, and I tell my cousin David Joyner, you got to be careful how you put joiners together. They'll do something different every time, Roger. As you heard, we didn't start because we found the grant. We didn't start because we had money. We started because of human development. And we realized, David, that if you put human development first, how many know economics will be an outcome? But if you put economics first, prostituting your own human capital would be your outcome. So today, we have put human development first, and because of that, we've been able to set a model, and that with these over 50 churches that we're going to be doing, that we're going to be putting out with OIC, the healthcare vans, we're going to be doing health fairs, in each one of these communities, making sure that the garden, the education, Teresa Pinto, and that all of what we're doing is going to impact the overall goals of our county, because we believe that, Johan, that what you have sown into us, that we're going to be able to double and reproduce, because we're going to make it work from the grassroots up. Now, how many know that's what really matters? And so as I leave you alone, and as you continue to eat your meal, and Ron, Boys and Girls Club, and the rest of us, that we, right now, the need for our vegetables have exceeded Kenita. That we have a need for more community gardens. We have a need that will drive us to a place of self-sufficiency through food. And I believe that it can happen. Is anybody willing to believe it with me? Come on, don't fool me now. And so as I close and leave you alone, and you've heard a lot today, but it can take boots on the ground to make this happen. It's going to take, as John tells us all the time, it's going to take collaboration and not competition. It's going to take us uniting. You heard of the great story of the Titanic. The controversial issue of the Titanic. On the night that the Titanic was sinking, it's amazing that there was another ship 19 miles away. That vessel was there 19 miles away, visible to the Titanic, the vice vessel. The ship was called the California. It ignored the distress rockets, and the captain chose to take care of his own ship and himself and his crew. And after the British, Roger, an American investigated it, was determined that more lives could have been saved if the Carolina had responded. And so here we are, our health care is sending out a distress cry. Our educational system is sending out a distress cry. Our communities are sending out a distress cry. And I leave to you today, or we're going to be like the Carolina, or the California, that decided that they were only going to take care of themselves, and that we would not remain to be one system and make money our issue rather than human beings our issue. And if we fail to hear the cries of our counties, if we fail to hear the cries of our educational system, and we make our decisions based on money and not human development, history will repeat itself again. And it won't be the Titanic sinking this time. It will be the eastern part of North Carolina. But I stopped by to say, I don't believe we're going to be that way. I believe that Nash and Edgecombe, the eastern part of North Carolina, is not going to sit silently by and think about, if I don't respond, what's going to happen to others rather than what's going to happen to me. I want to thank you today for asking us as Kenita to stop by. And I want to encourage you, when you sit back to your tables, when you go back to your commissioners meeting, your school board meetings, and whatever meeting you go to, don't think about what's going to happen to you. Think about what's going to happen to all of those others if I don't respond. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Richard, thank you so much for those words, but you need to tell them about your honey.
Oh, you have a little bear honey on your table. Now, when I was in charge, I could get more honey than that. But the students are in charge. And they said, Pastor Joyner, you only get a little bear, you don't get the pound because you're giving out honey away. And so, on the table is a taste test. You can put a little bit on your spoon, on your meal, taste it. We have 150 hives. We're going up to 3 bee buses. And this year, our goal is to pour 5,000 pounds of honey. And we're going to have it in each one of our regions. So thank you.
On behalf of the Rocky Mount Area Chamber of Commerce, we present this to your cause.
All right.
And we appreciate it. And look, there are a number of you out here that probably have too much money in your pocket or in your checkbook. Why don't you find Richard and write him a check? It goes to a great cause. You can't take it with you. I checked that yesterday. I checked and saw, I said, now those people, are they going to take it with them? And I found out none of you are taking it with you. So if you want to help my buddy Richard, he didn't even know he was my buddy.
All right.
But anyway, I think we owe him another hand of appreciation, but thanks so much, Richard. I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go away.
Let me thank you. I can tell you that my youth will be waiting this evening to get this check.
Let me have your attention. I know I'd like for you to continue to enjoy your meal. I don't mean to rush you, but you know, some of your employers may want you back. So I'm in consideration of that, and we're trying to run it smooth and effectively, but we'll move along with our program. I want to extend a personal thanks to our wonderful caterers today. Brian Rankin of Milton and Miles, Lou Rita of Lou Rita's American Table, and Robbie Stokes of Main Course put this together. We appreciate the culinary program here at Nash Community College, which stands out and continues to excel, and we appreciate those. And the assistance of Chef Don and Chef Frank. Is Chef Don and Chef Frank in the room? I guess that with my politicians. But the culinary students, the program out here, if you kept up with it, it's amazing at what's going on. And as we move through, we appreciate Richard's remarks, and hopefully we picked up something. If you didn't, it's your fault. I'm going to move forward here with, let me get my hands on a couple of things. I'm appreciative to have been able to lead in this way, and but any organization has a board, an executive board, and some are leaving, and I'd like to say thank you for their efforts as we continue. Bill Craig, I don't know if Bill's here today. The Action Group, HR Solutions, it will be going off the board. Sherlyn Page, Edward Jones Investment will be going off. Dr. Keith Smith, Nash Community College, and I saw Keith earlier. Keith, we appreciate all the effort. And so, Catherine Wiggins Fisher is going off. She was our legislative person, and Calvin in a little bit will tell you the new people that are coming on. When you start a journey, you don't know what to expect. And as a volunteer, I think I have volunteerism written on my forehead, or sucker, I can't remember which one. But it's nice, but when you reflect back, you see what you as the business community helps us do. And I'm just going to recap a couple things that have meant a lot to our team in the chamber and should be exciting to you as our business community. On the front of the information or the packets that you have, there are several things, particularly Dorsey Tobias and Don Williams and their efforts on the positive image campaign that has received rave reviews in raising around $150,000, but we need to look at the second level because that was getting out good information about what's going on in our area. Also, the efforts for the Hampton Road, from Raleigh to Hampton Roads Transportation, Interstate 495 and Interstate 44, that's going to be big for our area, for the businesses and everything. And I appreciate the ones that helped us go to Washington, D.C. and go to Williamson and sit down with area northeastern counties and meeting with the governor and everything. And it looks like we're well on our way to complete that project. Of course, people think businesses and volunteerism run by themselves, but it takes members. And there are a lot of small businesses out there, or businesses in general, that need to be a part of this organization that aren't. Where I come from, it's called freeloaders. Y'all too busy eating. But anyway, we are going to work very diligently this year to re-engage some that need to be volunteers on this organization. And we appreciate all of the activities because we can call on most anybody and they're willing to step forward. And that's so encouraging because, guys, there's so much good going on. I thank Teresa Pinto and Linda Mann and the chamber organizations. But look around what's going on in this community. Look at Edgecombe Community College and the new campus downtown. Look at Nash Community College. Hell, you can't even walk across campus anymore. It's too big. You need a golf cart. Look at what's going on with Wesleyan College, the growingest school in North Carolina percentage-wise. Look at that educational base that we have. How many have been out at the Impact Center? Hello? Well, if you hadn't, you need to just walk through and see what that is going to do for our community. It's amazing at what's going on. And I encourage you and the leadership that's there. And it's a wonderful, wonderful sight to see that being planted in our community. But we did not come here to hear about me. We came to hear about the volunteer awards and things like that because that's what we are. So I'm moving on. I appreciate it. I take it as a great privilege having the ability to have been in this role. But now I'm moving on to the awards. And our first, as you are aware, we are a volunteer-driven organization. My personal thanks to all who have done that. There's a special group which is known as the ambassadors. If you've ever been a part of the chamber, you've probably got your feet wet in the ambassador program. This year we went through a reorganization of the ambassador program, and we took the first 6 months to rededicate, to learn about what's going on with the economic development, what's going on with membership, what's going on, and met monthly on that and had the executives come in and talk about it. So we're better prepared. So when your ambassador comes to you, they can tell you what's going on. And they can be excited because of that. But we all are volunteers, but there's always one or two that stand out and you have to make a choice sometimes. And this year's honoree is someone who most would describe as a dependable, positive, dedicated, and maybe sometimes like a bull terrier. Once she sets her mind to something, she is not going to give up. For the past two decades, our honoree has taken a personal passion and love of animals, and she has made a career of that. My wife thinks that about her. I'm Terrio. She believes in lifelong learning and professional development. She's very active in her chosen career. Although her tenure is relatively short, she has done above and beyond in her service to the Rocky Mount business community. She lives in Rocky Mount with her husband and their 2 dogs, their 2 dog children, and 1 cat. Our winner shows us that a can-do positive attitude is a big part of being successful in business and in life. I'd like to ask Kathy Lewis, our 2015 Ambassador of the Year, to please come up. Congratulations. Kathy works with Coats Vets, has been for a while, and she grooms them, right? Okay, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
And then there is always the Volunteer of the Year. The Volunteer of the Year award is given to honor a dedicated individual supporting the Chamber's work throughout the community. The award is bestowed on an individual who is passionate about the community, as well as highly involved in both the Chamber and other areas of work for positive impact. The individual receiving this recognition this year is a North Carolina native, claiming the Mount Olive region as home. That is until 1988 when she came, and then she left, and then she came back in 2002. Since coming to Rocky Mount, this individual has intertwined her life with the lives of so many here. It should be no surprise, as volunteerism and serving others was a family philosophy passed down by her parents. Because of her strong faith and servant leadership attitude, she has focused her career on blending both her commitment to customer service and her love of people. We owe a big thank you for. She's always supporting them and encouraging others into volunteerism, having worked with her, and she works in many nonprofit working throughout our region. Organizations such as Junior Gill, Rocky Mount Business Builders, Relay for Life, My Sister's House, and many more. What I found interesting, but not surprising, is that with each of these organizations, not only did she volunteer, but she stepped up and went to the leadership level. In the Chamber, she started as an ambassador, but basically has volunteered for everything. Membership, events. I mean, I get tired just following her around, but we congratulate you. But she has never been asked for any type of recognition or expected it. But today, join with me as we celebrate with Amanda Bell as our volunteer of the year for 2015. The most prestigious of all Chamber honors is the Distinguished Citizen Award, presented annually to a community servant who has demonstrated noteworthy commitment and contribution. He or she has shown consistent dedication to the enhancement of the area's quality of life, promoted and advanced the welfare of all residents, and advanced the well-being of the community while exhibiting unselfish skills and influence of leadership. I will now ask Tom Betts to join me on the stage and introduce our Distinguished Citizen of the Year.
Hello. Today we are recognizing someone that is very recognizable. As a matter of fact, all of you know him, and more importantly, he knows all of you. He is a person of accomplishment, leadership, and he possesses very high moral character. He always does the next right thing. Even though he never does anything wrong, it never enters his mind to do anything wrong. Why, he's more honest than a Baptist holding 4 aces. Our recipient has been president of the Chamber, Benvenue Country Club, the Rotary Club, and is currently the chairman of the DeLeon Carter Foundation. And this really ain't no surprise, is it? He began his public service life working with L.H. Fountain, Congressman Fountain, as Congressman Fountain's local liaison and campaign manager. From there, he went on to become the state J.C. president. From there, he joined the Board of Governors of the UNC system. He is currently serving on the State Board of Transportation and is the longest serving member on that board. Along the way, he has been recognized for many of his accomplishments, and I'll just mention a few. He is the recipient of the Boy Scout Distinguished Service Award. He was recognized as Boss of the Year. He's a recipient of the Outstanding ECU Alumni Award. And several years ago, he was recognized as one of 5 in North Carolina as North Carolina's Outstanding Young Men. I could go on and on, but it gives me a great deal of personal pleasure to present this special award to my best friend, Gus Tullis.
We're going to play the video now. If you want to stand and wait, guys, and watch the video with everyone. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Governor Pat McCrory, and I want to congratulate my friend Gus Tullis on receiving the Distinguished Citizen Award from the Rocky Mount Chamber of Commerce.
When I think of Gus Tullis, I think of 2 types of public servants. One that's satisfied with a plaque on the wall, and one that makes a difference. Gus is the kind that makes a difference.
He's a friend, he's somebody that I respect, he's somebody that has mentored a lot of young people in our community.
He has actually taught me a lot. He has supported my career from day one. Every time my picture was in the paper, or if I opened a new company, Gus would send it to me laminated with a handwritten note, and most of the time framed.
If you know Gus at all, and if you've ever been anywhere with him, you would assume he's running for public office somewhere because he knows everybody. I've never been with him anywhere that he didn't know half of the room that we were in, whether it was in Rocky Mount or out of Rocky Mount.
If you looked up the word networking in the dictionary, it would say Gus Tullis. I have never met anyone who is better at what he does in networking.
If you've never played golf with him, you need to understand that Gus is working all the time. He's on the phone all the time. And there literally been holes that I think every time Gus got ready to hit a shot, he would say, just a minute, put his phone down, hit his shot, pick up the phone and start talking again.
He sort of reminds me of an old John Deere tractor. He's easy to start and he's hard to stop. And that's the reason we're so fortunate to have Gus, and I'm so glad that we're honoring him.
Gus and I are both very devoted to our children. Gus has Harrison and Kimberly, and they have children, and he adores his grandchildren. He is constantly spending time with them and doing things with them and taking them to the coast, taking them on trips, horseback riding. Not only does he support his family and help out with them, he helps out with mine too. I even gave Gus dating advice, and I think he would like to thank me for that because he is now engaged to the lovely Nancy Williamson, who is a dear friend of mine, and I'm so happy for both of them.
When he was state JC president, he saw to it that the state J.C. Burns Center was constructed. When he served on the UNC Board of Governors, he was very instrumental in helping them through a time of reorganization and redirection. And now that he is on the State Board of Transportation, the money gave out. But he saw to it that Rocky Mount still got highway projects, and more importantly, he has seen to it that those projects are being completed.
Gus's current leadership as a board member of the North Carolina Department of Transportation has been instrumental in helping keep the economy of northeastern North Carolina competitive and providing good roads for that region.
We are certainly fortunate to have Gus in our community as our DOT rep. From a city's perspective, when we have projects that get approved by the state DOT board, it's one thing to get approved, it's another thing to get them funded. Gus has followed a long line of very successful DOT reps that we've had here in Rocky Mount, and the work that he's doing for the city as his role on the DOT has been pretty significant. And on behalf of the city of Rocky Mount and the Rocky Mount City Council and our entire staff, we just want to say congratulations to Gus Tullis on winning the Chamber's Citizen of the Year Award. It's a well-deserved award, and Gus has done so much for this community, for the state, and this is just great recognition for somebody that not only he but his entire family have been strong Rocky Mount supporters for many, many years.
Gus, congratulations. You have certainly earned this award, and we're appreciative for your service.
Gus, it's been an honor working with you, and on behalf of the state of North Carolina, I want to personally thank you for your commitment to making our state a better place. Congratulations on this award, and may God bless you and your family and the great state of North Carolina.
Uncle Gus, Bailey joins me in congratulating you on the Distinguished Citizenship Award, a well-deserved award, and we are so happy you're our neighbor, our friend, and Bailey's Uncle Gus.
Lord, surprised doesn't even pay tribute to that. This is really incredible. There's so many people to thank for all the years. I think came back here in 1967, worked for my father and worked with the two brothers, and hopefully been involved almost since day one in the community. But this is just incredible when I think about some of the folks that have been honored, and they held it to the best. I promise you, I had no butterfly, didn't James? God knows. Anyway, I am thrilled and honored, and I really thank you so much. Thank you.
Tom didn't move my stuff. As my last official act as 2015 Chairman of the Board, it is my pleasure to introduce our 2016 Chamber Chairman, Calvin Balance. Calvin Balance is the president of Balance Solutions, a newly formed consulting firm and because he was former plant manager of Cummins of Rocky Mount Engine Plant, from which he retired in December of 2015. Calvin worked for the Cummins Corporation for over 25 years. Prior to that, he spent 7 years with General Motors in Wilmington, Delaware. After receiving his BS degree in mechanical engineering from North Carolina A&T State University, he later graduated from Central Michigan University with an MS in General Administration, and also became a life member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Calvin is very active in the Rocky Mount community, serving as chairman of the board of directors for the Strategic Twin County Educational Partnership, STEP, member of the Nash Community College Foundation Board, past chair for the Day for Wesleyan, North Carolina Wesleyan College annual fundraising initiative. Calvin was also the recipient of an NAACP Image Award for Economic Development bestowed upon by the local Rocky Mount chapter. Other affiliations include Board of Directors, Carolina Gateway Partnership, past board chair of the Industrial Advisory for Manufacturing Systems Department for North Carolina, A&T University. Calvin is also a certified Six Sigma Black Belt. That's why I like Calvin by my side. I wouldn't go anywhere without him. Calvin is a member of Word Tabernacle Church. Calvin is very passionate about teamwork and is dedicated to nurturing and growing the Rocky Mount community. He has chosen this area and finds it for a good reason, because it's a great place to call home. And I'd like to ask Calvin to come up. I don't see my gavel. I got to pass the gavel. I'm sorry, Calvin, you're going to have to wait next year. Come on down, Calvin.
Thank you, Roger, for that wonderful introduction. You're very kind, and I find great comfort following you in your strong leadership for the past year in the Chamber. I would like to invite you and Gail to join me on the podium. So Gail, would you please come up?
I told you we were going to get a call.
Okay, Roger, it is my pleasure to award you these special gifts in recognition of your year as chairman and with our wishes for your future success and happiness. We give these this gift on behalf of the Chamber membership for your constant support and the many long hours of leadership during this past year. We thank both of you. Please know how much I feel at ease going into my term, being surrounded by such dedicated and talented people. As I was reflecting on what to say, and all of you know that I'm not a lot of words for a lot of speaking, right? I just want to inform you first and foremost, I want to reiterate something Reverend Joyner said. We are on a journey together, a long journey. The work we must continue will take all of us working together. None of this, the healthy places, it will take all of us working to produce, and just to name a few, the Healthy Places, North Carolina Initiative, I-495, I-44, Rural Broadband, and the Positive Image Campaign works. Without all of our members and the business community engaged, involved, and providing leadership for me, as I think of what I will ask of myself as chairman of the board, I commit to three things. One, a vision plan for the Chamber of Commerce that sets a future of innovation, leadership, and growth. Two, active advocacy for business community and the entire business community. Number three, seeking out the most strategic and effective partnerships for our Chamber that will work to achieve economic growth and prosperity for the Twin Counties. Although it seems like a short list, it's a whole lot of work that I ask all of you to join me in. Thank you for coming, and as 2016 Chairman, I declare this meeting formally adjourned. Thank you.